Terrifying true campground stories that aren't just folklore. The campfire was the only thing standing between us and the pitch black of the forest. And then we heard it, the absolute last thing you'd ever want to hear deep in the woods. It sounded like kids playing, their laughter echoing just past the edge of the light. My name is Alex, and for the last 10 years, me and my 3 best friends have had an annual tradition, a serious camping trip. I don't mean some campground with bathrooms and other families. I mean truly off the grid. There's Liam, the practical one, Chloe, the forever optimist, and Ben, our resident skeptic who mostly just came along to hang out. We always thought we were pros, totally self-sufficient, miles from anyone. This trip was supposed to be just like all the others. We'd picked a spot off a topo map, a tiny, unnamed lake tucked away in a national forest, a solid 5-mile hike from the closest dirt road. The first day was perfect, almost too perfect. We pitched our tents in a little clearing, gathered firewood, and spent the afternoon fishing. The air was crisp, and the silence was incredible, only broken by the wind and our own dumb jokes. It felt so peaceful, like we were the only people for 100 miles. We cooked the fish we caught over the fire, told the same stories we always do, and just settled into the comfort of it all. How normal everything was is what makes what happened next so hard to wrap my head around. As soon as the sun dropped behind the trees and the forest went completely black, our world started to unravel. The first sign. Night came on fast and heavy. The sky was filled with stars you just don't see in the city, and the crackle of the fire was this nice, comforting rhythm. We were passing a bottle of whiskey. The conversation was starting to fade out, and that's when we heard it for the first time. It was faint, so faint you could barely catch it on the wind. The sound of laughter, but it wasn't ours. It was higher pitched, like a little kid's giggle. "Did you guys hear that?" Chloe asked, her eyes darting around. Ben immediately scoffed. "It's the wind, Chloe, or a weird bird." He always had a rational explanation for everything. Honestly, we wanted to believe him. The woods can play tricks on you at night, you know? The isolation makes you jump at shadows. So we brushed it off. Must be the whiskey or our imaginations. But then it came again. Closer this time. Clearer. There was no mistaking it. It was the sound of children playing. We could hear different voices. A sort of light, sing-songy chatter that had absolutely no business being out here. The sound itself was happy, but in that context, it was the most unnerving thing I had ever heard. We all went dead silent, just listening. The forest, which had been buzzing with insects a minute ago, was now completely still, except for that disembodied laughter that felt like it was dancing right at the edge of our firelight. "Hello?" Liam called out, his voice a little shaky. "Is anyone there?" Nothing. The laughter just stopped, and the silence that replaced it was somehow way worse. That feeling of being watched, of not being alone, was suddenly so intense it was almost suffocating. We just stared into the wall of darkness around us, every nerve ending on fire. The investigation. The laughter started up again, but now it was coming from a different direction. It was playful, almost like it was teasing us. It felt like it was circling our camp, always staying just out of sight. It was some kind of game, and we were the players, whether we wanted to be or not. The uneasiness we felt before had turned into actual fear. "I've had enough of this," Ben said, jumping to his feet. He grabbed his huge flashlight from his pack. "It's probably just some other campers messing with us." "And what if it's not?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. The thought of other people this far out was almost as scary as the alternative. He ignored me. Ben flicked on his flashlight, cutting a sharp beam into the dark. Liam and I grabbed our own lights and, after a hesitant look at each other, we followed him. We left Chloe behind to keep the fire going and stepped out of our safe little bubble of light. The air immediately felt colder. We swept our flashlights back and forth over old trees, thick bushes, and mossy rocks. We saw nothing, not a single broken branch or footprint, no sign that anyone had been there at all. It was like the forest was holding its breath. We called out again, but our voices just sounded small and stupid in the huge emptiness. The laughing was gone again. The silence was pressing in. We were just about to turn back, chalking it up to our minds playing tricks on us, when Chloe's voice sliced through the night, thin and sharp with panic. "Guys, get over here!" We sprinted back to the camp. She was pointing her flashlight at a patch of soft dirt right at the edge of the clearing, and there, in the middle of her beam, was a single, perfect footprint. It was tiny, impossibly tiny. The clear shape of a bare foot, you could even see the little dents of 5 small toes. There were no other prints anywhere. No trail leading to it, no trail leading away. Just one single footprint in the dirt where no child could or should ever be. That one little print was more terrifying than any sound. If this is already freaking you out, do me a favor and hit subscribe to the channel for more stories of the unexplained, because you're not going to believe what happened next. The terror. We all backed away and huddled together by the fire again. The image of that footprint burned into our brains. Ben wasn't a skeptic anymore. He was pale and wide-eyed, looking just as terrified as the rest of us. Every rational theory we had died the second we saw that print. A barefoot kid, miles from anywhere, in the middle of a cold night? It was impossible, but the proof was right there. The woods didn't feel peaceful anymore. It felt hostile, like we'd walked into a place we weren't supposed to be. That feeling of being watched wasn't just a feeling now. It was a fact. We could feel eyes on us from the darkness just past the fire. And that's when the giggling started again. Except this time, it wasn't coming from the trees. It was right behind our tents. A single sharp laugh, so close it made me physically flinch. My blood turned to ice. Before any of us could even think, we heard it. Fast, heavy footsteps rushing straight for one of the tents. Then the tent started shaking. Violently. Like something huge and angry was trying to rip it to shreds from the outside. The fabric was straining. The poles were groaning. We were completely frozen, paralyzed by a kind of fear so total it's hard to describe. And then came the scream. It wasn't a child's scream. It was a piercing, gut-wrenching shriek that tore through the night. It was a sound of pure agony and rage, a sound that wasn't human. It came from right outside the shaking tent, and it echoed through the entire valley. A final, horrifying sound that capped off the night. That scream snapped us out of it. We didn't talk. We didn't make a plan. We just ran. We fumbled for the car keys and left everything. Thousands of dollars of gear, tents, coolers, all of it. We just crashed through the forest, branches slapping our faces, running on pure adrenaline. We piled into the car and I floored it, fishtailing down that dirt road until we finally hit paved asphalt. Nobody said a single word for the entire drive back. We just let the glow of the streetlights wash over us, trying to feel normal again. We did file a report with the park rangers the next day. They didn't really take us seriously, but they sent a team out anyway. They found our campsite, abandoned, exactly how we left it, They said they found no tracks besides our own boot prints and no sign of any disturbance, and they found no tiny bare footprint in the dirt. It was just gone. We never went camping again. Sometimes, late at night when it's too quiet, I can still hear that laughter. I think about that single impossible footprint and what it meant, and I think about that final inhuman scream. There are some places in this world you're not meant to go, and some things you're better off not understanding. There are things hiding in the deep woods that just can't be explained. If you've ever had an encounter that you can't get out of your head, tell us your story in the comments below. For more terrifying true stories, make sure you like this video and subscribe. You never know what's really out there in the dark. Thank you for watching Fear Files Real Nightmares. Until next time, keep your lights on and your doors locked.